Now, if you play the Pokemon TCG and you're like me, you might find Standard sometimes becomes a little samey. You've seen Drizzles and Inteleons slapped down far too often and you want to try something new. Don't fret, we've got a few different ways to enjoy the Pokemon TCG with different formats. In this video, we're going to touch on the Doe Draft, we're going to touch on team format, we're going to take a bigger look at raid format, which I really quite like, and my two favorites, Gym Leader Challenge and the Cube. Gym Leader is the only one on this list which is, I would say, viable for competitive play. Obviously it's made for fun, and I think that is the important thing here. Standard can become very competitive just because of the prizes, because of worlds, all of that entails. I would say Gym Leader Challenge is just a fun version of that. Don't get me wrong, the standard format is fun, but yeah, you'll see what I mean when we get to it. So we're going to start with some of the easier ones though, and we're going to start with Doe Draft. Now this is something before Pokemon Worlds this year I had never experienced, I've never played. I actually put a bit about it in my vlog, so I will pass over to old me, or younger me, to cover what exactly a Doe Draft is. I bought an extra pack just to show you how it works. Basically, there's a few different ways to do it. The way we did it was one pack, so you get the one pack to yourself. Whatever you get in that booster pack, you get to play. Everything in here you use. You can only use the top attack. So in this example, it would be Chili. It would be, okay, there's only one attack on all of these. Oh, okay, a Flareon and a Flygon. So in this case, the Flygon couldn't use the Draconic Impulse. It could only use Sand Spray. And basically you just retreat around, attack each other. There's only one prize, it's really quick. You do also get a Ditto, which allows you to evolve a Pokemon into any Pokemon. So Dedenne, I could Ditto evolve into my Flygon if I was in some trouble, or a stage 2. I don't have one, but yeah, it's just like that. Really simple game, really fun game. It's what we've been playing a ton of. We're going to play a ton more tomorrow. But that's how it works, and just a quick pack for you guys. Thanks, other me. There is a few things in that which are slightly different in other variants of Ditto. Like the next day we played Ditto, it was a completely different game. There was rules where you used energy and built a small deck. Personally, I don't really like that. The point of it is you have a pack and you open it up and just play the pack. So yeah, you can change the rules around. The rules on their website have you use more packs, and again, you build a deck. It's just fun. You open a pack, you play that pack against someone, the game's over quickly. Everyone has a good time. The second one I wanted to talk about briefly was team format. Now this is one where it's 2 versus 2. So you do have a partner in this and you play against 2 other people. You will sort of almost play your own game. Your partner will play their own game. But then there is a middle section where you can use effects on both of you, or you can choose your partner, and it adds this interesting dynamic. I do think because the format isn't fleshed out enough, it is very much you play the same deck you would play in standard, or come up with a silly deck. Your partner does the same. They might not necessarily work that great together, but like I say, it's not a format that's been explored enough, which I think is to its detriment. It does look fun. It's not one I've tried, but I thought I should mention on here because it sounds quite interesting. But let's get into somewhere I've played a ton of games now. 2 which I'm wholeheartedly on board with. I do believe they are the best way to enjoy the TCG. But before we get into those, we're going to talk about the raid format. Now in the raid format, you're going to have something like a V-Union, and you're going to build its own specific deck for it. Now the raid boss, or the V-Union, whatever you decide to use, will have different rules. So for example, when it draws cards for turn, it activates those cards immediately. So if you draw 3 energy, let's say you use like a Tierno and draw 3 energy, you attach each energy revealed. So it can ramp up very quickly, things can happen very quickly. They could all be hyper potions and clear all your damage off. It could be stuff to draw more cards and activate even more. It creates a really interesting and exciting dynamic where 4 of you are playing against this. It's almost AI, you just draw the cards and just play them, so you can just have the 4 of you against this in a co-op game, which I think is very thematic for Pokemon. It feels very much like the VGC, which is why I really like the format. Basically, when your Pokemon are knocked out by the raid boss, you take prizes. If you ever run out of prizes, you lose. The way you win is you're going to pile damage onto the raid boss. Depending on the amount of players, is how many points or how many cards you're going to get to discard a turn. For example, let's say your team dealt 200 damage for the turn. There's 4 of you. So there's going to be 5 lots of 4 into 20. So that means the raid deck is going to discard or lost zone, shouldn't say discard, lost zone 5 cards. If they ever run out of cards, you win. I think it's really clever how they came up with that instead of, because obviously you could just knock a V-Union out in one turn. There's 4 of you attacking. So yeah, it's a really clever way to deal with it, and I think a really fun and interesting format. And one, if you're looking for games to play at League, maybe there's 4 of you or there's 2 groups of 4. It's something I'm going to be looking to do in the upcoming weeks. I do think it's a really fun format, especially if you have a ton of kids around that are looking to play, but they don't want to play against each other, or they want to learn the game a little more, or just play different formats. This one is perfect. But now we get to the good stuff. Okay, the others were good. I enjoy all of the formats, but these are a little different. These hit a little different. I don't know which to talk about first. I'm so excited to get into both of these. Let's go for the cube. I know I've got a ton of footage of the cube because I did actually film a video on it, which I didn't end up putting out. So it might be, if there's interest after this, I put that video out. But I am going to be going into both of these formats and helping you guys build decks for them. I've got some gameplay footage filmed, so that will be coming. So make sure you leave a like, subscribe, all of the good stuff if you do want to see that. But let's start, like I say, with a cube. So basically, a cube is going to be a set amount of cards. So it could be, I know people have worked it out to a science, so it could be like 560, I think it is, 320 or 720, something like that. A few different options. You're going to choose all of those. Let's say you're creating the cube in this scenario, like I did. You're going to be choosing every single card that goes into it. So for example, you're going to put 6, 7 different Charmanders. You're going to put a handful of Charmeleons and then 4 Charizards. The reason you do that is because you're going to take turns. All of the players, normally somewhere between 4 to 8 of you, are going to draft packs. So let's say you put all of those in, they're shuffled up, don't get me started on this, all 500 odd cards are then shuffled and dealt into packs. So there is a really small chance that 2 people choose to use Charizard, which means those Charmanders are going to be split and it's going to be difficult to find. Having more of those basic Pokemon makes it more realistic. A few players are going to find what they need. What I like to do and what most people do is use different arts as well. So if I can, I'll use 7 different Charmander arts. It's just really cool to use cards I've got lying around and have no other use in something. It's why I like Cube. It's why I like the Gym Leader Challenge. It makes every card you pull useful. And I think that's the beautiful thing about Pokemon. Using some of those cards you don't normally use because they're not strong enough. The cube, it doesn't matter. You're going to have a good time. It should be sort of balanced depending how you set your cube up. Hopefully you've balanced it slightly and there's not like random EXs or something in there. Mine's got none of that in. There's a few different ways to run a cube. I will link Omnipoke's video on the cube because him, Pooka, there's not many people that do it better. So go check out those videos if you do want to know more on it. This is just letting you know about the format, letting you know it's there, how it works, and a little info to get you started. It's like a taster. And believe me, once you've tried it, you're gonna want to build your own. It's what I did. I saw it online and built my own. I've played with tons of different groups of friends now. Honestly, it's one of my favorite things about the Pokemon TCG, and I hunt cards specifically to put into this. That's how important it is to me. I want someone to go through it and say, oh, that's a really cool art. I've never seen this before. How old's this card? Where's this card from? That's what I love about the game. There's just the history of it is, yeah, I could go on about the cube for days, but let's try and focus up. So after you've drafted the packs, you're going to build a deck from those packs. So you're going to want to try and focus on a few different types, then throw some energy in, and you're just going to play games. You're going to have a mini tournament. It is going to take you quite a while to complete. So I would say set aside a Saturday afternoon. Perfect thing to do with your kids or invite some friends round, family, depending who's into the game. It's just such a fun time. You're going to build decks, you're going to play a little tournament. It's just Pokemon in a nutshell, really. It's also perfect if you want to take it down to a Pokemon League, which is what I'm going to be doing soon. We're going to run our own format around it. Again, it's something we're going to do with Gym Leader Challenge. These fun formats just attract players. It's fun, it's exciting, it's different, it's new. It's all of the important stuff to find new players and keep them playing. But like I said, we do need to touch on Gym Leader Challenge. Now, again, I'm going to link a website down below where Andrew Mahone goes through all of this. He explains it much better on there. I think he's still got a video on it as well. There's tons of gameplay on his Tricky Gym channel. Like I say, I've got a video filmed with some gym leader decks, which will be coming, and it's someone I'm going to profile heavily on here because I truly do believe it's one of the best ways to enjoy the TCG. But briefly, basically, you're going to be a gym leader. You're going to choose your favorite type. I've currently got a fire deck made just because it's so different to the other stuff I normally play. But there's a few caveats. So you can only have one of each card. I can only have one Charizard, one Charmander, one Charmeleon, one Level Ball, one Ultra Ball. So it gets you thinking, it starts you looking back, seeing what cards were around, because this does also go back as far as expanded into black and white format, which I think is really important for the game. Obviously there's a massive pool of cards to players to go through. Don't take that as being too daunting. I would say, like I said, it's such a relaxed format. Just enjoy it. Go find cards you need. Use the cards you've got. If you've not got any old ones, use what you have now. It's stuff you can slowly add into your deck, slowly find. It's just, again, so much fun for so many reasons. Like I mentioned in the cube, you get to look at old art, old cards. You get to put stuff together which maybe wasn't planned, but there's some cool combinations. Maybe you found old Pokemon that you didn't know. Maybe you're new to the game. There's just so many reasons to enjoy this format. It is the purest way to enjoy the game, and I think it encapsulates Pokemon the best. Obviously, tying into the gym leader theme is really clever as well. It just, yeah, I feel like most of you people had the same thing where as a kid you wished or decided or spoke about with your brother or friends what kind of gym leader you would be, what kind of Elite Four member, what kind of Pokemon champion you would be. And you can live that out in a TCG, which is a really wholesome thing. And yeah, massive props to Andrew Mahone for creating this. All the work he's done with Tricky Gym, it's just been incredible. So huge thank you to you. But those are my top 5. Those are 5 formats which I've really been enjoying recently outside of Standard. If you liked any of them or you think I've missed any, maybe you got comments on some of them or questions, drop them in the comments below and I'm more than happy to help. That is all I've got for this episode though. So if you want to see more Pokemon content, make sure you subscribed. Otherwise, I will catch you in the next one.